Welcome to the Kira Grace Empowering Women series. This series highlights women who inspire us, challenge stereotypes, and instill power, strength, and confidence in others. Above all else, an empowering woman makes someone else feel stronger and more confident. I'm Kira Karmazin, the founder of Kira Grace, and today I'm here with Hayley Hobson. Hayley is a mom, fitness junkie, entrepreneur, legend, leader, friend of mine, and an empowering woman. Before I introduce or ask my first question of Hayley, I wanted to pull this quote that I saw, and I love this. Richard Bliss Brooke wrote, "Hayley Hobson is a force of nature, a social media maven, and a network marketing rock star. I can say with surety that she is the only person I know who has built $1 million a year income in less than 4 years, an incredible long-term company with real and valuable products." Take note, I am. So welcome, Hayley. Thanks for joining us today. What piece of advice would you give women who are starting their chapter 2?
Yeah, I think that's a great question because so many women think that they've followed this path and they're stuck on it, and that's like the hamster wheel that they've got to ride for the rest of their life. And I just simply don't believe that. I believe that we're all going to want to make changes in our lives, and I think that we grow as human beings, as women, right? And as we grow, we develop personally, and we're going to want to explore new opportunities. And I think that there's no age that has to stop. So my piece of advice would be go for it.
Yeah.
And if you are feeling a calling in your heart, no matter how old you are, I think you've got to follow that calling. I have all of these things I still want to do in my life, right? I've got these hobbies that I feel like I could turn into like little careers as I go. And I love what I'm doing right now, but I never see any path ending for me.
Just listening to you talk now is so inspirational to me. And I know that's how you developed this incredible business for yourself, is being so inspirational. You inspire hundreds of thousands of people on your team. It's incredible. You're one of the top producers at doTERRA. So I have to ask you, what do you do to keep up the momentum? What inspires you?
I think what inspires me is belief and hope, right? I really believe that we as women we have a birthright to be happy and to be following our dreams, and that we're fully capable. We're born with all the tools that we need. I remember you and I were at a yoga retreat together, and I remember Andrew Ribbon saying, Desiree Rumba's husband, saying to us that we come into our life with a suitcase. And the suitcase is full. Do you remember this?
Oh, yes.
And we come into our life and the suitcase is full, and we have all of what we need inside that suitcase, but some people forget to open it. And it just gives me chills even thinking about that, because I think that we have what it takes to move forward, and some people just forget that for a moment, or some people never realize that. And I know that I have a voice that has opened up the eyes of many women, or opened up their ears and just reminded them that they are capable and that they do deserve it, and that they have to run with that dream and follow that hope, and that whatever they manifest can really happen.
Well, who does that for you? Who empowers you? Who turned on that for you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I really have like one person's name that inspired me. I just love women who are rocking it. You know what I mean? You're one of those women, right? and Desiree, who I just mentioned, is one of those women. Like women who are strong enough to follow their dream.
Yeah, I've always said about starting a business, fire comes so deep within. It's a place that, it's not like someone kindles it for you. It's there. It just sometimes needs a path or the right opportunity at the right time. So what I do know about you, Hayley, is that you give everything you do 110%, 150%. You are one of the biggest accomplishers I've ever known. You are a total doer.
Thank you.
You are. You get stuff done. So what has been the biggest challenge for you in your career? What are the roadblocks that you've had to go through?
Yeah, some of the roadblocks as a woman are just the normal everyday life, to be honest. You know, we all wake up with an idea maybe of what we want to happen that day or that week or that month or that quarter or that year. And you know, as an entrepreneur and as a woman, as a mom, that nothing goes according to plan, right? And so many people believe that if your plan sort of derails, if your train goes off the track, that like you're stuck or you're done or you're over, and that's just not the case. You just have to take a breath and actually look at why things have maybe derailed and then make an alternative plan. And that happens to me in my business. And you probably heard a little bit of us talking about this yesterday at the event. Like, it's happened to me in my business dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of times. Like, things do not happen as you ideally want them to. Sometimes it's a huge lesson. Sometimes it's actually a gift that you've got to bring the train on a track a different way. And sometimes you just go through a period that's rocky. You've got a speed bump. You've just got to get over it. And you've got to just acknowledge that there's a reason behind why things are getting derailed. So, as a mom, I've got a little one who is 8 years old right now. I started my business, she was 3. And she's gonna provide me with lots of entertainment and lots of frustration every day of my life. Even this morning getting here, I was like, Madeline, we're leaving in 30 minutes. Are you ready? And then there's a huge
you start
blowout.
The countdown, right?
Right. And of course we were 20 minutes late
Right.
because she didn't want to eat breakfast and she didn't want to get out of bed and she didn't want to brush her hair. And so that kind of stuff happens all the time. And then leading a team, you always are gonna have people who have personality differences or don't think the way that you do, and that's okay, right? We've all got different strengths, but you've got partners. I've got my husband who doesn't always agree with me. We all have challenges. So my challenges, to be honest, are normal. They're normal. They're the exact same challenges you are having as an entrepreneur. They're exact same challenges as any mother is having, and they're the exact same challenges as any woman is having. Like, we all have very similar circumstances.
Yeah.
It's just the way that we decide to think about them that brings us closer or farther from our success.
Well, it is challenging balancing home and work, especially working at a high level. It's really challenging, and that's why I made my change. I needed to find a different balance, a different road. But because you're doing it right now, you're juggling so much, and what are the stigmas that you've been faced with as a working woman, or have you not had any of those conflicts?
Oh no, I mean, there's those conflicts. One of the stigmas that I face, and I'm sure you do too, is that you're not around as much as the ideal mother or woman is for her children. And it's very interesting. I just had this conversation with a friend of mine last night over dinner. If you're sitting in a restaurant and a man walked out to get on a phone call in the middle of dinner, nobody would think twice about it, right? If a man walked out of his house in the morning and didn't come back until 6, 7 o'clock at night, nobody would think anything of it. If a man got on a plane and left for a business trip for 2 or 3 days, nobody would think anything of it. But as women, we have, over the generations, we've been stereotyped into a certain role, and we're breaking those paradigms, right? We're breaking through different avenues of what is possible, and it's hard to find that place. Like, are we still that maternal mom, like have that role, or are we able to move into business, entrepreneurship? Can we have both? And I'm not going to say that I'm here and I've figured it all out, but I'm just doing the best that I can, right? And I can decide to do certain things, like go to certain dance lessons or gymnastics lessons or swim lessons, or I can be home, or both. We have the choice as women. I just think that we just need to decide what is it that we want to do.
Well, and you also have to choose the right career that allows you that flexibility. I didn't have that in my last role, my corporate role. So it was really work or home. It was an either or. And so one of the advantages of working for yourself is that you can build your own path, your own flexibility into your schedule.
Yeah,
so you're able
kind
to do
of
that.
like I can.
Yeah. It's hard still.
However, some people think that, I've got all this flexibility and I can design my life however I want, and you can, but I just want to, the reality of it is I'm still up at, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning getting things done so that I can have this time at 10 or 11 or 2 or 3 or 6. So my workday looks very different than your traditional 9 to 5.
Yeah, it doesn't go away. The product doesn't, the output doesn't go away. It gets shifted around.
Yeah, and you can decide that, I'm only going to work from whatever time in the morning until 4 or 5 or 6, but then here we are on a Sunday recording this video, right? With my daughter out in the lobby with your daughter. Like, you work it in. You work it in, and it's got to be a flexible, moving component.
Yeah.
But I think that when you ask about stigma, I think the stigma is she's not holding the traditional role. And my question to all of those people who maybe have thrown that stigma on me is what is the traditional role, and why do we even have to label that?
Presidential is the highest rank at doTERRA. Is that correct?
Yeah. So in any network marketing company, you're going to have different ranks that you achieve based on how many customers and leaders you develop in your business, and your rank it correlates to your salary, to your commission structure.
Okay, so you are a double presidential diamond leader at doTERRA. Tell me, what does that mean?
Yeah, so achieve the rank of presidential diamond, you have to have 6 leaders that have achieved a really high rank in doTERRA. And I've done that twice. So I've built my original presidential team. There's maybe 70 accounts out of, just to give you perspective, 6 million people in the company that are customers and builders, 70 that have achieved at one point the rank of presidential diamond, and 3 of us who have 2 organizations.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
But what I think is really interesting, Hayley, is that you approach this so differently. You built your own brand. You built Whole You. And from that, you grew your business. So can you explain or describe what Whole You is?
Yeah, so one of the reasons that I left the practice of law, I was an attorney for 5 years before I then became a Pilates teacher and a yoga teacher, and then started this business with essential oils, is because I had my own health issues that I was struggling with. And some of it was physical, like I actually literally had like an inflammatory bowel disease, so to speak. It was like an autoimmune. But some of it was emotional. And what I've learned throughout the last decade is that our emotions play a huge part in our physical health. So if we are not feeling good, we're going to manifest that physically in our body. So I hadn't learned at that point in my 20s and 30s really how to manage my emotions. And our emotions actually stem from the way that we think. So if we have a certain belief, or if we have a certain thought process going on, or if we have a certain brain download that could be inherited from generations, we're going to, from our thoughts, feel a certain way in our body. And then if we don't know how to deal with that, that's where our actions or results or non-results come from. So when I left the practice of law, I thought I was moving toward this more holistic lifestyle approach. And then when I got sick, I really did nurse myself back to health with food. Imagine that.
Yeah.
It started with juice cleansing. It started with a raw food diet. It went into a vegan diet, and then it went into the essential oils and supplements. And I really embodied this, what I call Whole You approach, which is learning how to not just exercise and eat better, but can you manage your emotions? Can you manage your relationships? Can you remove what's toxic out of your life? Can you have an alignment with what your physical body looks like to you? You know, are you happy with your finances? Are you feeling like your religious or spiritual beliefs are where you want them to be? It's a whole process. I mean, there was like 18 different areas of my life, some of those I just mentioned, that I went and dove into and decided, am I a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10 with all of those, or am I a 3? And do I want to rise up? And I did a lot of journaling during that time. And that's where the Whole You brand evolved. That's how it evolved. And so to me, it's really important that we think of our life as like a circle, and are we allowing all of those different components, like exercise and weight and body image and relationships and communication and spirituality and religion and all of the stuff, are we allowing all of that to come in? And that's going to embody what I call the Whole You. And then I've taken it a step further over the last couple of years, and I've really gotten into this conscious creation, this idea that our thoughts, like I just mentioned, determine how we feel, and then how we feel is a direct correlation on how we're going to act or react. So if you don't like your actions, if you stop and look like, why did I just do that? Or why did I just say that? It's because we're having this maybe subconscious feeling in our body based on a thought pattern that we don't even know we're having. And I've done a lot of work on myself, and now I'm working with a lot of other people to help them understand their unconscious behavior. Because I do believe that when we can really manifest conscious creation, we can get exactly where we want in our life.
That's an incredible accomplishment, the Whole You. So are you coaching people? How is that manifesting? What does that look like?
So first I started coaching myself, believe it or not, because I didn't like the way that I was reacting to what was happening in my business. I didn't like some of the conversations I was having with my own organization, my leaders. I didn't like the conversations I was having with my husband or my mother or my sister. So I started really working on myself. And what I noticed is that my circumstances could stay exactly the same, but what I felt about them could be completely different. So I could choose love when I was choosing annoyance. I could choose patience when I was choosing bitterness. I had a choice based on how I was going to let my brain download. And once I realized how I could do it within my own self, then I started using it with my own team and the people that are around me, and even the people that I employ, and even my husband, right? And then, yes, now I've taken it to another level where I do have a program, a course that people can opt into and take with me called Consciously Creating Your Whole You.
Oh my God, I love that. I do so little of that. I do a little of that with my daughter, Grace. We talk about the choices that we make in the morning. How are we going to feel today? Or how are we going to react to certain situations? But you've really amplified that, and that you've designed a course around it is incredible.
Yeah, it's so interesting how people can decide that they are shattered or overwhelmed or disappointed or bitter. Like they're just making a decision and they think that there's no choice.
Yeah.
And when you really dive in and analyze why they're feeling like that, they're telling you things that aren't true. It's just decisions that they've decided to believe. It's so fascinating to me.
Or taking things personally too. That's a choice too. Is it personal? Is it not personal? At that event yesterday, one of the pieces of information I really took away from that is it's a choice. It's not personal. You can just move on from that and don't let it impact your day and move on.
Right.
So I love that. It's kind of taking all of those elements. And so I want to move a little bit into your lifestyle, because you're a jet setter, you're traveling all the time, and yet you still look fabulous. So I have to say, what is your go-to workout right now? What are you loving?
Yeah, I love the combination of doing what is called these days high intensity interval training with weight training.
Yeah.
So I used to be a triathlete, and I used to be a long distance runner, and I'd run like 60, 65 miles a week. And I love running 20 minutes now, right? But doing it in intervals where my body's getting that jolt of high intensity, or rowing, or some type of other energetic move. Like I usually go to boutique fitness gyms.
That's so fun.
Yeah, I love it. And then there's, as I've gotten older, I'm sure you've realized too, not that you're old, but
that's right.
We need to, as women, we need to be picking up some weight. And I still love my traditional Pilates and yoga that I grew up doing and I've been doing for 20 years, but I've just got to pick up heavier things.
Yeah.
So it's just a combination of what I just call fitness now, right? I'm not training for a specific race. I'm not trying to put my legs around my head. I'm just trying to be fit.
And we met at a yoga retreat, and then we started going to these yoga retreats every year, and which have been beautiful, an amazing thing in my life. But yoga, at least for me, is just part of what I'm interested in now, where 5 years ago even, it was everything I was interested in now. Now I need the weight training, and I'm doing HIIT too, which is so funny. I love it. Found this little gym down the street. So it sounds like you're in a similar space, trying to keep fit wherever, however you can. But how would you describe your fashion sense in fitness then? Like, what do you like to wear?
Okay, so for me, I like to be in fashion all the time. So, I don't want to go to the gym or the HIIT studio or the yoga studio and just have clothes that are comfortable on, which is why I've always loved your brand. I really feel like what we're putting on our body it's a mood, it's something that we're presenting about ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. So I want to look fabulous all the time, whether it's 6 o'clock in the morning or whether I'm getting in cute jammies to go to bed. When I have clothes on my body that make me feel alive or sexy or hip or pretty, it just makes me feel good inside.
Yeah, I've always felt that about clothing, whether it's activewear or fashion, regular, it's a costume. And what you put on really moves the way you feel. It changes, it shifts.
Even on a Saturday or Sunday when I'm not leaving the house, even if I haven't washed my hair in 4 days, I'm doing a cute do. I might put a lip gloss and a blush on. I might put a cute pair of sweats with a t-shirt, like maybe a piece of jewelry. Like I just like to look cute, it just makes me feel better about myself.
I love that. That's why we're friends. One of the reasons why we're friends. Okay, so now I have some questions that the team put together that are just like, we just want to know more about Hayley. Okay, what is your go-to cheat meal? Because I know you are very strict on your diet, but you have to cheat on that. Like, in what way?
Yeah, so I'm a vegan, and I love eating in a way that I feel food is medicine, right? It really is. So like when I go out in the morning, I want like green juices that are filling me up. I want awesome milks, like almond milks, maca milks, cashew milks. I just love a really good, tasty, spicy meal. But I also love barbecue potato chips.
Oh, there it is. Okay, because yes.
And I also love dark chocolate.
I was waiting for Oreos to creep in there.
No, I don't go
they're
that bad.
vegan.
I do the, baked, kettle fried.
I know. I'm trying to think what my cheat is. I've got so many. All right. So what is an essential part of your day? Because I know in managing a load like you have, an executive load like that, you have to have a fairly structured day. So what's the most important thing that you absolutely have to do?
My calendar. Like 100%, my calendar has to be accurate, because I can have sometimes 28 appointments on my calendar in one day. I mean, little 15-minute increments. Like I calendar everything. I time block everything. And I really believe that the more you structure your calendar, the more productive you can be. So if you've got an hour of free time, but you know that you should be doing this, or this, put it into your free time. Like read this blog, listen to this podcast, I mean, I'm not calendaring things like drink my coffee.
Date with Wes.
Right, but I am, sometimes I do calendar my dates.
I calendar it, yeah.
But I do calendar things like my workouts in the morning, like they're non-negotiable. Like I put them on the schedule when I'm not traveling, and I work my days around those. And I also, it's really important to me to have self-care. Like I know you and I just talked about this before we started interviewing. I said my nails are a mess right now. I hope I hope the camera's not on them. And I don't think I've shaved my legs in 2 weeks because I've been traveling all over the world. But tomorrow, right? I'm getting a wax.
Oh, good.
Right. So I think that making sure that you feel good and taking time for yourself as women and as business owners and entrepreneurs, we can get so caught up in serving so many other people, and we've really got to make sure that we are rested, that we are nourished, and that we are feeling pampered.
And that's hard to do. So what do you wish you had more time to do?
I honestly feel like I have time to do everything that I want.
No way.
No, I do.
Oh my God.
I do. I know that you think like I'm one of the busiest people in the world, and a lot of people do, but I don't think there's really anything that I don't do. Like I'm eating the way that I want to eat. When I'm not traveling, I am getting my fitness in. I am spending time with my daughter. I am relaxing at home. I am watching my favorite TV shows. I read 2 books last week. I've read like 8 books in the last 3 months. Like I'm fitting it all in, and I'm running $1 million business. So I just honestly don't feel like I wish I could do anything else. I'm traveling the world. I'm hanging out with people that I want to hang out with. The energy's good. I've got the life.
Yeah, that's great. So that's an accomplishment, being able to do that. I can honestly say there are things that I still wish I had more time to do.
Like what?
Probably spending time with my daughter.
Okay,
I wish I had more time for that. And sometimes, I manage it.
Yeah.
I manage it.
You know what I did though, and I think this can happen in seasons, and you and I have talked about this, is that normally when I'm at home in Boulder, Colorado, we have, routine for the year. We're living in Boulder. I'm traveling to and from Boulder. We come down here to San Diego to our home here periodically, and we have help at home. I do have a nanny that comes, does her schoolwork with her, takes her to activities. I'm home, I'm working. She can walk in and out. There is connection, but I'm not spending as much time, just like you said. The summer, and this happened last summer too, we came down here for the summer, and we're not doing the nanny, and I'm going to be doing 3/4 days instead of half days, because it's my time now for the next 2 months where we're going to reconnect. And my husband said to me, like, well, you're only going away for 3 days this week. Why are you taking Madeline? I'm like, we just need some mommy and me time. So I think that you can kind of build those little days or 2 days or seasons into your calendar if you want to, with your children.
Well, and I love that you brought her here this weekend, and you had business, but she's here with you, and she's enjoying San Diego. I will be doing as much of that this summer as I can with Grace as well. If we travel, if I have to travel, I'll try and bring her with me because she's not in school.
Yeah.
All right, so couple more questions. Everyone wants to know, what is your favorite doTERRA essential oil?
Oh my gosh, that's impossible to answer. There are so many good oils. One of my favorite combinations, and it's been like this for a very long time, is to take a little bit of frankincense, which is so anti-inflammatory. And I just love citrus oils. Do you love citrus? I love the smell of things like lemon and wild orange. So I mix frankincense and wild orange together. And I often add a tiny bit of lavender, and a tiny bit of copaiba, and I honestly rub it in coconut oil and put it all over my body.
So I'm a lavender junkie.
You are?
Oh my God. So I use the coconut oil and I add the lavender in it, and I have it in this little beautiful, actually, like smoked glass dispenser, and I use it twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, just if I want to freshen up, or I love it.
Yeah, that's what I do with my frankincense and wild orange. But there's so many great
try
oils that I do.
Yeah,
it's amazing. But I mean, look, I have oils that ground me, and I have oils that help with digestion, and I have oils that relax and balance and help me have a better night's sleep. And so I'm a junkie. I'm using like 20 oils a day, but I don't think I could ever go without the frankincense wild orange combo.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to try that one. All right, so in closing, I have a couple questions for you that are more just wanting to know how you feel about, gratitude and gratefulness. And you've accomplished so much, but what are you most grateful for?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just grateful for everything, honestly. It's like, when you're busy, this is an analogy I just want to give everybody, is like when you're running at such a high speed, you're going to encounter conflict. And what happens is you are sometimes doing in 1 month what people do in 10 years, right? So you're running at a very high speed, and you're going to run up against a million conversations or a million decisions that you have to make, and sometimes arguments that you might have with your partners, with your spouse, because you're moving so fast and you're just butting up against so many different things. And I just have to remind myself and remind my husband sometimes, like, look at everything that is happening. Look at the life that we have. Look at the mountains that we get to look at. Look at our beautiful children. Look at our bodies and our health and the people that we surround ourselves with and our friends and 4 parents that are still alive. Like, we are living the life, right? So take a breath and let go and just smile and be grateful for everything that's going on right now, right?
I think you answered my next question. So my last question for you was going to be, what is the closest thing to real magic?
What is the closest thing to real magic? I don't know. Did I answer that?
It's everything.
Yeah.
Right? It's all coming together in a beautiful way. The way I think you did.
And I want to bring this kind of back to what we talked about earlier, which was the conscious creation. I think that when we all pause for a second, and I don't mean that you have to sit and meditate, although if that's your thing, awesome, do it. But we are all running so fast, and what happens during that, and sometimes running fast doesn't mean you're an entrepreneur, it just means that you've got 2 kids that are making you crazy, or whatever it is, or you've got 2 jobs that you're holding, or you're managing a household. But we're moving fast, and we don't actually stay present with what's going on. We're not giving ourselves the pleasure of making choices, and we're just running on autopilot, is what I'm saying. And when we run on autopilot, we don't get to think, right? It's kind of like today when I told you I lost my wallet, right? I must have been running on autopilot, because you don't lose your wallet when you're present, right? You don't lose your phone, your sunglasses, your keys. You don't leave your laptop in the airport. You don't do those things when you're present. So can we all just like slow down for a second and turn our phones on silent, right? Or flip them over, or put them in our handbag, right? And can we just notice what's going on? Because when you can notice, you can create. And to me, creation is everything. As a designer, right? Creation is everything. Mm-hmm. Can we consciously not just create patterns in our clothing or interior design in our homes, but can we design the life we want to have? And you can only do that when you're present.
Is there anything that you want to add that I didn't ask? Anything that you think people would want to know more about you?
I think you covered it, but what I just will remind everybody is that they have that power, right? If they just make a decision, instead of living in fear that they're going to go up against speed bumps or road bumps or failures, just noting that that's normal. Like, how many times have you failed? You learn by making mistakes.
Yeah,
like,
that's the way you learn.
Awesome.
And you have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
The whole iteration of, I made a mistake. It's not even a mistake. It's like I've tried something and I learned that doesn't work. I'm trying something else.
And that's what I'm trying
to. It's more of a process.
It's exactly what I'm saying about your life. If you try something, like waking your child up 30 minutes before you leave the house and it doesn't work, then the next time you wake them up 45 minutes more, right?
Right.
If you give them cereal for breakfast and they don't want it, then next time you give them a banana. It's just trying different things.
Yeah.
And I just want to remind everybody that failing is normal. Nobody cares, like you shouldn't care what people think about you, because whatever they are thinking is just part of their own stuff, and you should just do what you want to do.
Yeah. I think I would love just to change that word, failure. It's not failure, it's trying something, and it's just experimentation maybe.
Right.
Thank you for taking
You are
time out of your
welcome.
day on a Sunday. I appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting
I'm
me.
so proud of you and everything you've accomplished, and I think our readership will really enjoy it. So,
Thanks.
Thank you.